lovers than aggressive competition, and the Castrol had the makings of a battle royal. Ari Vatanen from Finland, Greg Carr, the local from Canberra, who hadn't been beaten in this event for 5 years, Jim Donald, the Kiwi champion, Colin Bond, Australian rally champion 3 times over, and Australia's man of the moment in motorsport, Peter Brock. These were the leading contenders, but a field of 45 drivers were following in their dust. The rally covers over 600 kilometres and starts at an electrifying pace on a full division of bitumen. The navigator for Ari Vatanen, Englishman David Richards, claims the bitumen will make it an even more demanding contest for both man and machine.
I think it'll tend to level things up a little bit because you've got the gravel stages are quite tricky, and I think the asphalt, some of the racing drivers, I notice here you've got a couple of your very good Australian racing drivers entered on the rally. I think it'll give them a better chance. And the other great thing in the start of the rally, it's quite important that the classification is right for tonight, because if you're running way back in the order tonight, you've got problems. And of course, there's no dust problem here on the asphalt stages, or bitumen stages rather. So it does make it fair for everybody from that point of view. It doesn't cut up either. So it's, I think all in all, it gives a far rounder sort of event. You know, it's a far more comprehensive type of event. It's a far better test of the drivers and the motorcars.
Ari Vatanen, in the leading mass sport escort, has come to Australia with a reputation of being the fastest and most spectacular rally driver in the world. His presence has generated excitement never experienced before in the Castrol. By the end of the first day, Vatanen will have fulfilled everyone's expectations. Spectators will have seen a rare display of fearless driving and brute speed. The whispers in the crowd are that perhaps this is the year Greg Carr will be knocked off the pedestal he's sat on for 5 years. He's won the last 5 Castrols, all on dirt, but the bitumen may find a chink in the armour of the defending champion.
Acute left just here. Acute left, acute left.
The Ford team was the most experienced in the event, and Greg Carr was enjoying the challenge of a different surface.
Well, I still enjoy it, but there's more fun in it now with the winning, or the trying to win anyway. That's sort of the satisfying thing. I still enjoy just going around and sliding around in the car and controlling the car, but having top competitors to compete against is what I consider the most enjoyable part of rallying for me, and that's why I'm very pleased that Ari Vatanen could have come out to this rally and you know, just give me something to aim at. I just hope we can get more people of his standard to come out to all our rallies in Australia.
Colin Bond's co-driver, John Dawson-Damer, is one of the enigmas of motorsport in Australia. He explains what motivates a navigator. Is it just the speed that gives him a thrill?
No, I don't think there is in that, but sitting next to Colin Bond is something quite different. Very little chit-chat in the car, very few comments from him, and no swear words, and if something catches him by surprise, he just has this natural ability to be able to walk over it and get himself out of it and not run into trouble. We've seen some incredible skid marks around, second time around, but he just handles things in such a natural way that that's what the joy is. And sometimes it's hard to concentrate when you start enjoying the driver. Suddenly you realize the turn comes up and you've missed it.
The speed and precision of the leading drivers was almost unbelievable. There was never a pause in the lightning pace. With Ari Vatanen leading and Colin Bond matching the blistering attack in second place, it was simply a matter of the others chasing as hard as they could to stay near the front contenders. end of the first division on Bitumen, Vatanen had won 6 stages. Colin Bond finished on top in 4, and Greg Carr won 3. The first division down, most of it on Bitumen. How'd you find it?
Well, I found it very hot, interesting. Competition is quite hard. The locals, Greg and Colin Bond, are very fast indeed, so giving a hard time.
You're feeling a bit of pressure from those 2 drivers?
Yeah, definitely, you know, they don't let me to relax, no way. No, you know, I'm hardly in front of them.
And how do you feel about the lead that you have, about 12 or 15 seconds going into the night division?
Well, it's at least give me one advantage that I can be number 1 on the road, but nothing else. It's 1 puncture and we lose 2 minutes or 3 minutes, so 12 seconds is nothing.
Vatanen leads Carr by 16 seconds and goes into the night division only 9 seconds in front of Colin Bond. Forests are normally quiet at night, but once a year they come to life, fueled by the roar of engines and the cheers of thousands gathered at their favourite vantage point. Early in the night, there was one important change. Greg Carr had displaced Colin Bond and was running second. Yes. Rallying is in the blood of the drivers, win or lose. But there's one very real difference between rallying and all other forms of motorsport. That's true also for navigators like John Dawson-Damer.
It differs from motorsport in that it's still a sport and all the competitors get on very well together. And there's no problem about asking other people their times and they'll tell you, or having a good old giggle when there's a delay or a hold-up on the rally somewhere. And there's none of this sort of don't talk to the opposition that you get in motorsport to some extent. So to that extent, it's probably still sticking closest to sport of anything that exists at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good for Puncher.
Yeah, just what you do in case he holds back, right?
No, we won't. Looking for you. No, we'll go keep going 3. Yeah. There 3 gears. Did you get a 5 gap then?
No, we've got a 4.
The familiar red and white colours of Peter Brock and Noel Richards have shown great consistency, even though driving a less competitive car. Brock is Australia's most popular all-round driver, and for him, the rally is a chance to unwind from the high-powered circuit racing and test his Commodore against the power of the Escorts.
Yeah, I see all roads are all like that. I'm astonished.
Got better towards the end. I didn't know whether it was the road improving or whether it was you were starting to drive a straight line on it.
The road's improved. Because it got away from that powdery, mulchy sort of stuff, you know, that's where there's absolutely no ride. Hello, here we go, Bathurst pit stop.
During the night, word passed that the Finnish speed demon was taking more time from his challengers, but Vatanen remained wary of the threat from Greg Carr.
Well, you know, I always find it nice to be leading, so it's a nice feeling, but, you know, the rally it's not halfway through yet, nowhere near, so it's a long way to go.
The most outstanding thing about your driving so far is that you're continually taking time off Greg, who is renowned for knowing these forests so well. What do you put that down to? Just better driving skill, or?
Well, it may be his, you know, so-called Friday afternoon or Monday when you don't do a very good job. But I think he's still doing very well, but just, you know, it goes this way. One day you are faster, next day the other one is faster.
Ari Vatanen won every night stage except one. He begins the final division the next day, 2 minutes 13 seconds in front of Greg Carr. Was third, and Hugh Bell, the Victorian privateer, had pushed his Datsun 1600 into fourth position. The drivers were rested and their energy restored, and right from the very beginning of the morning, the pressure and the excitement began to increase. This was the day of reckoning for all. If top rally teams survive, it's usually because of the trust between driver and navigator, as Karen Richards explains.
They get on very well. They've got a very good relationship. I mean, Ari trusts him 100%, and they've got a very good working team together. It's something that's very, very important when you're going to spend sort of days on end with each other in a motor car. I mean, if you don't get on, well, there'll be big problems, I think.
I've noticed over the first couple of days of this rally that David, in many senses, tends to mother Ari, to watch over him,
Yes.
to make sure that he does what's expected.
Yes, yes. Well, I think that's the co-driver's job, really. I mean, perhaps not quite to the point of mothering, but to making sure that he's there on time and that he's got everything he needs, so that all that the driver's got to worry about is getting in the car and driving. The co-driver's job is to sort him out and make sure everything's smooth and that he has nothing else to worry about.
Mid-afternoon, and Vatanen is leading by 2.5 minutes.
Well, because he seems to be pushing hard as well, so cannot afford to relax. So, but I think the margin is well reasonable, but still it's a fairly long way to go, and one puncture along a stage that would jeopardize the whole thing.
Vatanen and Carr have spread-eagled the field. Vatanen has won 4 of the final day stages and Carr 3. The pace is frightening. Both teams are going through tyres at an unbelievable rate. The pressure is mounting at every corner, and at this point, Vatanen rolls.
Straighten up the wheel. You myself. Oh, come on.
Vatanen has been bent and bruised, and for him now, it's a case of go for broke. At the service area, the Massport crew wait, like expectant parents. Vatanen drives so close to the limit, there's always the possibility of a major mishap. Unfortunately for them, it's happened, and Vatanen isn't too pleased with himself.
Yes, if you were helping us more, we would be still leading the rally. Of course, I shouldn't have gone off the road, should I?
Clock, Greg.
Harry, it seems you're saving the worst for the last. What's happened?
Well, I think towards the end of this rally, the pace of the rally was getting too boring, so I decided to make it a bit more exciting by rolling my car over once. And we lost 4.5 minutes, and only people to give us hand were, I think your rival television crew who were more willing to film than push us. So it took 4.5 minutes to get back to the road, but we are now, I think, 20 seconds behind Greg because he lost in turn sometime on that previous stage. So I think, it's not too bad, quite critical.
What's the damage to the car?
No, nothing really. Doesn't affect the driving.
What actually happened? You hit a stump or?
No, well, no, it was just a very sharp edge and the rear end went over the edge and, after that it turned, so. Silly.
Even this close to home, Greg Carr can't relax because Vatanen is catching up time. But in the final challenge, the Massport team is running short of tyres, and Vatanen's munge at the finish is plagued by punctures. Greg Carr snatches his 6th Castrol title in a desperate fight to the finish. Colin Bond was always a threat and finished 3rd. After 600 kilometres, the difference between Carr and Vatanen was only 40 split seconds.
Good to be over. No, I enjoyed it. Obviously the pace was on the whole time. There was no relaxing, and we both were pushing each other the whole way. I don't know what the official margin will be, but I suppose it'll only be about 20 seconds or something.
What do you feel about winning it because he rolled? Because that was where the difference was, wasn't it? That one lose off the top of the bank there.
Yeah, but you must remember when you're pushing, when you're going so hard, you're virtually on the limit, there's not much room for error. He might have been just going just a little bit too hard. And he had quite a few flat tyres today, and I think that's much the same sort of story. You know, you've got to go hard, but try and sort of keep your tyres intact and, you know, read the road right and that sort of thing.
Well, full credit to you and congratulations on your 6th win, and to Fred.
Thank you very much.
Larry, running in 2nd spot, how do you feel?
Well, obviously disappointed, you know. Very, you know, ashamed for myself.
Ashamed because you had that roll?
Exactly, and a stupid mistake, you know, while I was having a good lead.
So you put it really down to your own fault?
Of course, 100%.
Lack of concentration, do you think it was?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. Shouldn't make this sort of mistakes, but it's always worth analysing what, you know, one has done. You know, I have been my own enemy.